Welcome. This is the official PC Gaming Show 2022 pre-show. It's like the show before the show, so make sure you get comfortable, get that aggressively named energy drink you love so much, and get ready for the latest and greatest in the world of PC gaming. It's a little bit like the graphics driver update or the day one patch you have to install before playing your favorite games. Except this is more of the day 9 patch, so gotta keep tuning in or otherwise I'll T-pose for the rest of the show. So while we apply the final dab of thermal paste to this year's PC Gaming Show, let's get things started with some exclusive trailers you can only see in the pre-show right now. Stick around.
Returning to your old master's tower, after years of traveling the realms of Aeon, you find it abandoned. Him vanished without trace. And you, the heir to the wizard's many secrets. Your purpose rekindled and new tools at your disposal. You work tirelessly to rebuild the once great tower, breathing new life into its empty halls. And from humble beginnings, through hard work and dedication, you unlock the secret through which true greatness may be achieved. Vanquish your enemies, conquer their places of power, reap the ultimate prize.
Coming soon, a terrible new foe will face the ultimate warriors. Will our heroes survive the Lizard Man War Chief or succumb to the forces of Daedalus? Don't miss these updates coming soon to MythForce. In your face. Only on the Epic Store.
Escalated throughout the world. And a group of experienced mercenaries called Blacklist.
Going stealth. Storming target. Eyes on. Going red. Closing on hostile. Taking hostile tank fire.
Global Risk is an international military giant. Got eyes on hostile. Focus fire on target.
Clear for incoming firing. Please advise. We have eyes on unknown contact. What the hell is that thing?
In the midst of all the chaos, a new institution has emerged called New Horizon.
Providing them the
coordinates.
Initiating strike.
Engaged by hostile troops.
Initiating Nova drop. We are reporting a massive army approaching the city.
Contact. Not like anything I've seen before. Ready, Commander.
Wake up, sleeper.
Wake up, sleeper. You have no idea what's coming.
Hello there, gamers! Welcome back to the PC Gaming Show 2022 pre-show. And I know what you're thinking, why hasn't the main event started yet? It's because we're still packing all the awesomeness in. So you can think of this as like DLC, except you don't have to make some sort of Sophie's choice about how to free up hard drive space. Speaking of which, we have a special treat for you while we wait for the full PC Gaming Show to begin. The exclusive premiere of a new documentary series created by PC Gamer called Tales from the Hard Drive. Stories are at the heart of PC gaming, and that's exactly what the series is focused on. The unbelievable, inspiring, and sometimes unsettling stories of PC gamers who became legends in their own right. Those tales of deceit or victory PC gamers wrote themselves in games like World of Warcraft, EVE Online, DayZ, these represent the spiritual center of PC gaming. And over the course of this documentary series, PC Gamer will lionize ordinary gamers who did exceptional things. Here's the first full episode of Tales from the Hard Drive. You can watch the rest of the series on PCGamer.com or on YouTube.com/PCGamer, debuting soon.
The boat to Menethil Harbor was a one-way ticket to death.
If you went to Menethil Harbor, you were corpse walking.
Being able to see their reaction to me killing them was the goal. I wanted that notoriety. I wanted to be feared.
For millions of players, the virtual world of Azeroth is an escape. A massively multiplayer role-playing game where you fight demons and dragons with your friends. But for 4 months in 2005, World of Warcraft's bustling Dethicus server wasn't a friendly reprieve from the outside world. It was a hunting ground. The terror of Menethil Harbor.
Folks lately call me Witchfinger. Back then, I was Harley Davis, the erotic fiction troll king of World of Warcraft, and I was basically in the troll mafia that ran Dethicus, and I was in a guild with Doc Master Angway in the early part of Vanilla WoW. In original Vanilla WoW, there was not a lot of instancing. There was basically 2 continents. And in order to rotate between one continent and the next continent, Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms, you had to physically walk onto a dock where you would catch either a zeppelin or a boat. What Angway was famous for was he parked his character, which was a level 60 orc rogue, in Menethil Harbor, which is a level 30 Alliance leveling zone, and he killed everyone that tried to get on the boat to another continent.
I'm angry, and I killed over 10,000 players in World of Warcraft. I ganked people in Menethil Harbor for about 4 months. I did it constantly, and I was a orc rogue. It was very easy to get away from people. They had some of the hardest hitting melee attacks in the game. It was a griefer's dream. If you want to kill people in a video game, you don't want to be seen, you want to be able to get away, and you want to be able to deal a lot of damage really fast. The reason I was killing a lot of people in Menethil was because I was trying to recreate something that I had seen in EverQuest. You saw them coming and you were scared. I mean, you did not want to die to these people. I wanted that notoriety. I wanted to be feared. People had to come to me, and they didn't really have very many options of where they could go. I mean, it was literally a small dock that they had to walk across and get onto a boat that's a confined space. Menethil was just the right combination of lack of guards and tricky spots that I could get away from people if I absolutely had to. You kill people, maybe 10 a day, and that was a good day. And maybe one of them would get really upset, and that was a better gank.
Ganking, the act of killing other players, especially when they're below your level or not wanting to fight, is a controversial tradition in World of Warcraft. But Angwy's dedication to it bordered on obsessiveness, and it quickly turned him into a living nightmare on his server.
I just killed people on the docks.
I absolutely hate you, Angwy. You are a nerd and have absolutely no life. Hell, you probably live in your mum's basement.
Angwy made people's lives hell. His ability to shut down Menethil Harbor for 4 months turned him into one of World of Warcraft's biggest anti-heroes.
Back in vanilla World of Warcraft, back in the good old days, I was Squig, a human rogue, on the Dethicus server. Early on when I was leveling, before I became part of the Deathicus culture. He was certainly a nuisance. The boat to Menethil Harbor was a one-way ticket to death. He knew everything. Since he was a rogue, he had stealth, he knew where you could hide, he knew where you could run, he knew how he could get off the boat, he knew where you were going to respawn, he knew where he was going to respawn. That was probably the first time I ran into him, because he definitely camped that boat.
But just because you got to the boat didn't mean you were safe.
The boat had a couple of different spots where you could go on the insides of it, and you could go up on top of it and whatnot.
One of my favorite things that I could do if somebody that was trying to be sneaky to get on the boat, and I could just stealth onto the boat. We're out in the water. They think they're safe. They're hiding in a corner, and then I just kill them all real quick. And I could take down like 4 or 5 low-level people before I needed to jump off the boat.
And so what you would have to do is you would have to go to the graveyard and you would have to graveyard respawn. This would cost durability, and this would also make your run back to Menethil Harbor a bit longer.
Then if they stayed on the boat when it zoned, they would end up at their graveyard with 1 health, and then I'm already there. And I could sit there and kill them as many times as I wanted at that point. I think it was really frustrating for them because, I mean, they told me, but it was a lot of fun. Like it was genuine glee a lot of the time.
The guy was legitimately a masterclass multiple opponent rogue.
He had stealth, he had stuns, he had blinds, he had everything in his toolbox, and he knew how to use every single one of them to make sure he accomplished his goal.
What made Angui exceptional was his dedication to his craft. He turned it into a science, one that sent many players over the edge.
When you play a character up to like level 60, it's a pretty big time investment that you're putting into this. And then to have your character just get completely massacred repeatedly, I think it can be hard to keep your cool, I guess. And I find it fun.
Personally, he probably only killed me probably 3 or 4 times, so I tried to avoid it as best I could. After a while, once I realized that Angui was peak Deathicus, hey, this is kind of fun. I totally get what this dude's doing.
Being a troll guild, of course we loved him. People would come on the forums and go, Angui, I got ganked by this level 60 rogue named Angui, and your pain is wine to us. It's like this delicious beer.
Ruthlessly killing players for 8 hours a day made him a terror, but that's not what made Angui famous.
So Angui and I met. We were both teenagers, and we ended up being guilded together. We were on a horribly boring raid, and we just started talking, and we hit it off very quickly. The things that we were doing in World of Warcraft, or that he was doing in World of Warcraft, never seemed like a big deal to me. Killing people in Menethil, like, it was a fun prank. I don't know, it seems fine, but people are really upset.
So we had this alt account named Angui Spy that was literally sitting on a tree stump in Menethil Harbor that was recording all the complaints, everything everybody said whenever he would kill them.
And I would kind of edge people on and tell them that they should complain about Angui, knowing that he was probably going to capture all of that and post it on his website.
That was even more fun because now he could actually get the hate mail. You were throwing gasoline on a fire.
I set up a website where I hosted screenshots of people that had ganked, mainly hate tells and nasty comments. I feel like the screenshots were trophies. It showed how good I was doing at my job, I guess.
Hey, Angui, go suck. Poor Angui, insecure little boy who has to take it out in a game. You really need a life. Stupid Angui.
The website was just kept growing and growing and growing, and I was doing weekly updates with my wife Nicole.
You know, the website took a lot of time. It was a huge undertaking to launch this every week and get something live.
He was this absolutely normal dude living a normal life with this girlfriend, and his goals were beyond your understanding.
Angui had extraordinary talent for getting under people's skin.
Yeah, Angui hit us from both sides. He hit us in game, and then he would troll the forums and let everybody know that he was hitting us in game and that there was nothing we could do about it.
Well, I really hope you die a painful death, preferably in flames, and all of your family goes with you, and your line stops for good with you.
The website is what really elevated Angui above the everyday trolls in World of Warcraft. It was just so funny seeing how he could get such a rise out of people and all of the hate and vitriol that was directed towards them.
I sympathized with a lot of the victims. I was like, they're just having a bad day. Just like, let them go. You did your thing. People got kind of nasty though, and at that point my empathy kind of goes away.
I was killing random lobies, and I don't know what level this guy was, but he was very upset. And he was letting me know that he didn't like it. Eventually, I got a message from his kid saying, I'm sorry my dad is being such a jerk or something like that. Like, he seemed to get it. And I totally told the dad. And from my perspective, it's like, I'm playing a video game where part of the game is that you get to kill each other. Like, it's a PvP server. Like, you have an option where you don't get killed, and you're choosing to go on this one where you do get killed, and then getting upset because you're getting killed. And in hindsight, I feel bad about it. Like, I have kids now, but I never saw him again, and I don't think that kid, I'm sure that was not a fun time for him.
I think one of the big things that is really interesting about him in his entire story is that there's a duality of two different people. In the game, he has one personality. In real life, he's another, and he can separate them. Those traits that you play in game don't always come out in IRL. Honestly, it's socially acceptable in my eyes for him to be able to do this. Yes, it's going to piss off some people, and he's probably over there just laughing, being like, yeah, that sucks for you, man. I'm going to keep doing it, though, because to me, it brings me joy.
At some point, somebody found out that they could get my name, or what they thought was my name, and my address and my phone number from DNS on the website. I mean, it's a little creepy.
I remember it being like, oh wow, like this is getting serious. Like, are they actually gonna do something about this, or are they just trying to intimidate us? And so, you know, it seemed like the less attention we gave it, the faster it went away.
As Angui's reign of terror continued each and every day for those 4 months, he only became more notorious, while other players would often challenge him, and even sometimes win. No one could permanently stop his killing spree.
At some point, I got a message from just a random person in the guild. He's like, hey, somebody wrote a guide on how to get around you, and I wanted the guide really bad. So I leveled up a character and then got into their guild, got forum access, and then got the guide. And it was a full-on guide on how to stop me from killing them, and it's like the most flattering thing. Somebody took the time to think up all these different tactics on how to get around me. Once I got them, I pretty much just tried to make it as invalid as possible. And that was probably my most prized possession, other than my daughters now.
That guide is really indicative of Angui's influence on Deathicus. He was more than just another player. He became this raid boss that required the coordination of entire guilds in order to take down. No one else has really ever done that before or since.
But at the height of his infamy, Angui had a revelation.
I wasn't doing well in community college. All my friends that I used to play with, they were all going to school, or they were having families. I didn't really know what to do with my life, I guess. I didn't want to play video games all my whole life.
You really need a life.
When it was over, it was almost like a relief of like, I don't have to live up to those expectations anymore.
So it kind of got down to where like, do I want to do this thing I don't enjoy, or do I want to go try to, go to school? I went to college. I got a degree in game art and design. I became a computer programmer. I worked at a few game companies. And then I started a family, and now I take care of kids full time. So I kind of get griefed by them now.
Long after Angui quit World of Warcraft, his legacy spread and lived on. Cracked.com awarded him the #1 move in an online game, while in YouTube videos and forums and Reddit threads, players retold Angwy's story again and again.
Angwy's story really harkens back to a time when World of Warcraft was just much more social. And I think players really crave that kind of freedom to write their own legacy, and that's why Angwy's story has endured.
I don't know. I don't think that game exists anymore. The gaming culture has changed so much that I don't know that you'd even be able to recreate the same thing again.
The best part about World of Warcraft to me was always the people. The community changed.
I beat the game. I made friends. That's really what MMOs should be. That's what they are about. And if your MMO's not about that, then your MMO sucks. That's really all there is to it.
I think that's where a lot of the really good player stories come from, is that player interaction, and it's something that's mostly gone from games currently, and I think World of Warcraft was kind of the start of that. After I quit, I missed it a lot. Like I was like, this was a lot of fun. I could see doing it again. I'm kind of looking forward to, killing people.
People start freaking out. Worry turned into panic.
I made a mistake, and I got stuck over there.
You went to Menethil Harbor, you were corpse walking.
What is going on? This is supposed to just be a video game.
I wanted that notoriety. I wanted to be feared.
I don't know how you would go about even finding someone who is essentially a myth.
We finally tracked down one member of this mysterious group.
There he is. Have you lived and breathed?
He was this absolutely normal dude, living a normal life, and his goals were beyond your understanding.
Hang in there, big guy.
If it wasn't for him, I would have died. Out in the black, you never can truly trust the people you fly beside.
Are you 40,000 light years from home? Don't panic.
The Sims was the ultimate icebreaker.
I don't mind dying if it means saving people's lives. And if I can do it being such a dramatic bitch, I'm gonna do it.
I still got 4 magazines. Do we want to go back?
Good things come to those who wait, and your patience has finally paid off. Get ready, because the 2022 PC Gaming Show kicks off in just a few moments, and we got dozens of new games, trailers, exclusive interviews, which means there's only one thing left to do. It's countdown time, and I'll see you in a sec. everyone, welcome to the PC Gaming Show 2022. I'm Day 9 still, one of your hosts, joined again by the amazing Mica Burton.
Hi.
While we may look like elaborate Unreal Engine renders, we are here in the flesh, as is the hardware, bringing you the best and brightest in the world of PC gaming.
Over the next 2 hours, we are going to showcase a metric ton of killer upcoming PC games through world premieres, exclusive interviews, and a few surprises along the way. And you, the folks at home, might even be able to win yourself a fancy computer if you play your cards right.
And now you may remember the last time you saw me on this show, things ended quite literally explosively.
Yeah.
There was a robot who tried to destroy the human race, electrocuted me. I think I died.
Definitely died.
Either way, I'm not really sure. It was standard robot apocalyptic stuff, just minus the overbearing anime dad and existential crises.
Yeah, well, actually, what happened to DevBot anyway? Wasn't he supposed to come back for this show for,
Yeah.
like, Revenge of the DevBot? Ah.
Well, he's dead.
Oh.
We melted him down to try to make our own graphics cards since they're still hard to find, and I would say he's in a better place, but I played Cyberpunk 2077 and he's not.
Ooh, that's pretty dark for the start of the show.
Or nostalgic.
Aw.
But none of that matters because the show actually took place in a parallel reality.
All right, so you're telling me there's actually a multiverse?
According to the writers who told me this 5 minutes before we went live, I am saying there's a multiverse.
All right.
We're now apparently on Earth 3, which is not to be confused with E3 because this show is still happening.
Oh, and we are so thrilled to be back as a part of this weekend full of celebrations of gaming by putting the spotlight on something near and dear to our hearts. PC gaming.
And so, without any further ado, it's time for my favorite part.
Rated M for mature.
I won't leave you. You're not a monster. In the beginning, the world was subjugated by chaos. Endless droves of horrors trespassed into the world. And so came the solstice of souls. Something's coming.
Between death and transcendence, a chimera chooses death.
Show us what you've got!
We have a whole new world to forge.
May the judge have mercy on your souls.
You're here with me. I always will be.
As long as we are together, we're not going down. They wanted yet another monster. They shall have one.
You must resist it!
You just saw Tactical Breach Wizards, a turn-based game of sorcery and SWAT team strategy from the makers of Gunpoint and Heat Signature. My strategy, personally, is very simple. Breach, bang, clear, magic missile, dramatic flourish, abra, cadaver. Get it? Cadaver, dead body. Anyway. Next, we have a solution to the age-old problem of not having time to read and play video games. Just do both at the same time, obviously. Star Wars Industries has you covered with their sci-fi thriller inspired by Stanislaw Lem's novel, The Invincible. So here's your first look at the first ever gameplay footage.
You. What have you done?
Where are you taking me?
You came here yourself. So what are you expecting, huh?
You've set up a field camp down there.
Yes, ma'am.
So I didn't expect you to have a second one here.
Really?
Sit here and don't you dare move. What are you doing here?
You're not gonna like this part. The radiation level is growing rapidly. It's starting to get interesting.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that, Doctor.
I located the mobile antimatter cannon.
Another one? How many of those did they... Is it active?
Dead.
I admire your composure.
Wait, someone's here. Astrogator, they're dead.
So you found someone. Unfortunately, such unpleasant discoveries are indispensable to the mission.
I didn't let that thought get to me. I was counting on this meeting very much. At worst, it could have been another abandoned place, but not this.
But what exactly?
That's a good question. I'm getting into the recorder. What do we have here? Uh-huh. They made their way through with a beam of antimatter.
How subtle. Did you locate this passage?
I'm looking at it now. They pierced a hole several meters in diameter and several dozen meters long.
Yasna, do you hear me?
Yes. My head feels like it's bursting from pressure.
Can you continue?
Yes. I'm better now. Actually, there's nothing here that I haven't seen before. There are a lot of metal bushes that were near our camp. The lower parts of the bushes are, how to put it, fruitless.
So they came to pick the fruits.
This robot looks like it has started its task and got stuck.
What task?
This is one of the robots carrying containers with research material. It took the container, but never left that place.
Why do you think it's stuck?
Well, it goes in circles using the same path. The robot's gone.
You must have broken his loop.
But I didn't.
Well, he must have done something. Never mind. Follow it.
Fuck! It's getting up!
What, a robot?
No! Antimat!
Come on, Yasna. Run! Hide! Yasna, are you alive?
Yes, it's fucked up the robot.
What's it doing now?
Oh no! Take care of our people, Novik.
It's time to take a pit stop at the nearest dungeon to prove that chivalry isn't dead. And if you think I emphasize those words weirdly, you're right. And it'll all make sense momentarily when you see these next 4 games, especially when you hear from our friends at Tripwire Interactive. Roll that beautiful footage.
You? Nah. You don't have what it takes. You'll be back here too scared to try again. 'Cause the dungeon will turn you into lunch meat. Unless you're way tougher than you look. We got the guns, the turrets, the upgrades. But what you really need is guts and skills. Grab your posse and say your prayers. Be the first to play. To die. To give your feedback. Do you have what it takes?
Welcome to F1 Manager 2022, the ultimate F1 simulation, putting you in the position of team principal at one of the 10 current F1 teams, battling it out for a chance to be the next world champion. Choose your team and drive every decision that leads to you making your mark on the grid, and hopefully the podium. Winning championships depends on your ability to make the right calls on and off the track. During races, you'll mastermind strategy, plan tyre stints for each driver, and make changes on the fly when necessary. Issue driver callouts, such as instructing them to attack or defend, manage their tyre wear and battery usage, or even to avoid battling a teammate, all while reacting to dynamic events like race incidents and fluctuating weather and track conditions. Between race weekends, you'll control every detail of your team from your state-of-the-art headquarters. Hire best-in-class staff to work across your aerodynamics and engineering teams and put them to the task to develop your car and prepare new parts for upcoming races. Optimize your finances to keep the board happy, improve and maintain your facilities, and scout talent from F2 and F3 to try and ensure future success. They say knowledge is power, and keeping a close eye on a plethora of realistic data will help give you the edge. From the finer details of how car parts affect overall performance, to a track's expected grip level, to the condition of your wind tunnel. How you analyze the data and choose to spend your resources will make or break your progress. You'll find depth and detail in abundance, even down to real-world team radio messages between drivers and engineers, and race commentary from David Croft and Karun Chandok, while broadcast-style presentation showcases 2022's striking new car design with real trackside and onboard camera angles. The sleek management menus and intuitive controls will drive the immersive F1 fantasy home as you plan and execute the perfect strategy in F1 Manager 2022. Pre-order the digital version now for early access from August 25th.
Hey everyone, after 1 year of Chivalry 2, we've more than doubled the size of the game, and now we're excited to bring even more knights onto the battlefield. Because today, right now, Chivalry 2 is out on Steam with crossplay between all platforms. This is our biggest update to the game yet, and it brings players to an all-new desert theater of war, and best of all, brings us horses into Chivalry 2 in mounted combat. We want to thank our community for making the game the success that it's been so far, and if you haven't played it yet, now is the best time to check out Chivalry 2. Take a look at our new trailer that shows off the new update and its Nosian invasion.
This rebellion is at an end. The Agathians flee to their stronghold in the north. This land is mine! Now Denosia rises from the south. Kill them all! Throw the dogs back into the desert. Their forces will crash and break against the bulwark. If the wall falls, we must retaliate. Ready the ships! Long has Senosia remained safe from my fury. No more. They dare to strike out at us. Their city will fall. Their people will bleed. Their knowledge will burn. My reign will never end.
Hi everyone, I'm Phil from Sweet Bandits, live from Quebec City. Really glad to be here today for the PC Gaming Show. We'll be showing the first trailer for our game, Deceive Inc. It's a multiplayer competitive spy game where you get to use social stealth, high-tech gadgets, and powerful spy abilities to try and get the upper hand. We've had the chance of working with Tripwire Presents on the project, so this is only the beginning. Please follow us on social media at Play Deceive Inc to learn more. We'll be releasing the game in early 2023 on PC, Xbox Series S and X, and PS5. Thank you so much, and let's enjoy the trailer.
Good afternoon, agents. Your mission is simple. Infiltrate the frozen coral underwater hotel and retrieve the blueprint of a powerful weapon. As you know, Deceive Inc's company policy is to deploy multiple agents to ensure the mission's success. But only one will get the paycheck. Do whatever it takes, agent, and be careful out there.
Try your best. Let's see if it's enough. Booyah! Ka-ching! Oh, come on. They can't be this fast.
And they thought it was secure. In the end, I am victorious.
They're really not gonna make it easy for me. Gotcha.
Is that it?
Right on target. Outskilled and outgunned.
It can't end like this.
Target acquired. Moving to rendezvous point. All done. Really? Mission complete!
Let me ask you something. Do you ever have a reoccurring dream that you really wish would come true? I mean, mine personally involves a flight of unicorns and a Valkyrie army on Pegasuses, but yours may be different, but somehow I doubt it. This year, we've partnered with the PC builders at iBuyPower to bring a very different dream to life. My dream PC room. Unfortunately, there's bad news for me. I don't get to keep it. But very good news for one of you. We're going to be giving the entire contents of this room away to a lucky winner watching the show. So let's dive in and see what's up for grabs. The beating heart of any PC gaming dream room is, of course, the rig, so let's start there. As you can see, the mad geniuses at iBuyPower have built an absolute doozy. The first thing you'll notice is that height Y60 case with its wraparound tempered glass panels. This thing is built from the ground up to display the sickest PC tech you can squeeze into a desktop machine. And let's face it, if you've managed to bag a serious graphics card in these dry times, you owe it to the silicon gods to show it off properly. Okay, the case and lighting looks dope, but for this to be a true dream PC, we need more than just state-of-the-art drip. Luckily, the substance matches the style. So let's check out the guts of our dream PC, and trust me, there's plenty of power crammed in. The big question, though, is what pixel pusher iBuyPower has used, and you won't be disappointed with an overclocked RTX 3090 from Gigabyte, right? This 24GB monster of a GPU packs the cooling to stay chill and the power to smash through any game you throw at it. The graphics card is the rig's MVP, but any superstar needs some dope backup, and the fastest gaming CPU around, the Intel 5.5GHz Core i9 12900KS with 32GB of DDR5 RAM and 2TB of seriously fast SSD storage, both from ADATA, makes up the perfect support team. Whew, that is a whole lot of PC. But Mica, you may greedily wonder, what about the peripherals? Well, animal lovers, we got you covered, because the Height Eclipse wireless headset comes in plush vegan leather trim with a 30-hour battery life and competition-grade 2.4GHz connection. And you noisy typers are going to love the clicky-clacky mechanical keyboard that comes with it. Oh, I'm sorry, what was that? RGB? Well, of course! The keyboard and mouse both light up like Atlantic City on a Saturday night. And yeah, you can turn it off so you can actually get some sleep. You can find out more about this gear feature today over at iBuyPower.com, but I know what you really want to know. The info on how to win this beastly setup. So here are the details.
Thanks, Mica. Yes, folks, it couldn't be easier to enter our Dream PC giveaway. For your chance, just head over to pcgamer.com/dreampc and follow the simple instructions. There, you'll find a complete breakdown of the prize, which, don't worry, also comes with some very swish monitors as well as the eligibility rules. Good luck, gamers.
That is right, just head over to pcgamer.com/dreampc for your chance to win. But for now, let's get back to the games. From Kepler Interactive and A44 Games comes Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, an action RPG from the team behind Ashen, where gods and guns collide.
When the gods first emerged from the great below, we saw them as saviors. Instead, they unleashed a pestilence on our world. No one yet knows if you can kill a god. I, for one, intend to find out.
Hey PC Gaming Show, I'm Derek Bradley, the CEO of A44 Games and creative director of Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. Flintlock is set in a world ruled by old gods, and so as humanity, you now have the power of black powder and bombs and flintlock rifles to finally overthrow the gods and take the world back. You'll play as Nor, a Blackstream sapper, one of the elite explosives experts of the Coalition forces. Nor herself has a personal vendetta against the gods and will stop at nothing to get her revenge. But you won't be going it alone. Where Nor brings firepower, her fox-like companion Enki brings magic to the battlefield. You will have to master a combination of axe combat and gunplay, while your companion Enki uses his magical powers to disrupt enemies. We can't wait to show you more of Flintlock before it's released next year. Head over to our socials for more info, and don't forget to wishlist now on Steam and Epic Game Store. Have a great show.
Coming up next, a mysterious new sci-fi game from 11-Bit Studios, the creators of This War of Mine. Hear all about it in our exclusive interview. We'll also show you what's next for Outriders from Square Enix and People Can Fly. Plus, if you look back on high school and think, you know, those 4 years would have been better if I was fighting literal demons, you're definitely going to want to study up on our next world-exclusive independent game inspired by the Persona series. Chug your health potions now because there is so much more PC Gaming Show coming your way. Before we go, the folks at Compass Data Centers have a little quiz for you. How much higher is 5G's data capacity compared to current 4G networks? Scan this QR code and answer the question for a chance to win $500 worth of stuff from Razer, or visit gaming.compassdatacenters.com. Okay, now back to the PC Gaming Show.
Ready to game the system? Meet Mana. You slay. You achieve. You win. So should your bank account, because your power shouldn't stop when the game does. Mana is the best gaming rewards debit card where you can earn perks and points by paying and playing, and get rewarded with the things you actually want, like that skin you can't wait to show off, or your next gear upgrade. So why pay any other way? Pay with Mana. Pay with power. Mana. Game the system.
So I know what you're thinking, and the answer is yes. It's time to talk about The Alters, the brand new game from 11-Bit Studios. The Warsaw-based studio made us cry in this war of mine, make difficult choices in the face of climate apocalypse in Frostpunk, and battle encroaching corruption in Children of Morta. The Alters sends us to the deepest, darkest reaches of space, in a survival story that is guaranteed to give you an existential crisis, in a good way. This is a really big moment for this year's show. I can't wait. Let's take a look. Joining us now to talk about what we just saw all the way from Poland is Tomasz Kasilewicz of 11-Bit Studios. Welcome to the PC Gaming Show, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Okay, there is a lot to unpack there. We got clones, we got this huge wheel. Tell us, what did we just see?
Well, first of all, these guys were not exactly the clones. We saw Jan, our main character, who's traveling with a group of the Alters, who are the alternative versions of the same person. And they are going through this distant alien planet in their mobile base, which was the wheel you saw at the end.
So what's the player's goal as they're progressing through the story?
So you are a space builder stranded on this distant planet, and your goal is to survive and find a way back home. But the thing is, in order to do so, you need to create those alters, as each one of them have different set of skills and character traits. So these are things necessary for your survival and finding a way back home.
So from the trailer, tonally this could be a horror, a thriller, a mystery. What should players expect?
Actually, there are bits of everything you mentioned. Like, there is this mystery as we're looking deep into the soul of the character, but what you find there can also be pretty scary. So there are those beats of psychological horror and drama, but then on top of it we have this quite thick layer of surreality. I mean, how surreal would it be to one day, wake up next to a little different alternative version of your very self?
Now, there's a quote that you shared with me earlier, that man cannot remake himself without suffering, for he is both the marble and the sculptor. How does this quote relate to the story?
So this quote, it relates directly to the main theme of our game. We as people, we are shaping ourselves every single day with every single decision that we are making. This process, the whole process of becoming who we are, it can be quite painful at times. But in our game, Jan, the main character, he has this unique possibility of not only shaping himself, but also reshaping himself numerous times with every single altar that he is creating.
Do you see this as more of a classic sci-fi story, something like a Ray Bradbury work, or is it something more contemporary?
Well, it is very classic sci-fi in a way that we are taking a relatable topic and we are using the sci-fi theme, we are using the sci-fi setting to look at it through the magnifying lenses. But then when we're choosing the tools, this is a very contemporary game and we're taking advantage of what video games are as a medium. So we're using tools like systematic design and nonlinearity in order to put the players in the middle of the experience and in the end allow them to create their own stories inside the game.
I wanted to ask a little bit about the relationship of your previous titles to the alters, whether there's any narrative or themes or even just influence that those games had on this one.
Well, the alters is purely 100% our game, 11-Bit Studios game, and it's created in line with our meaningful entertainment philosophy. So it's a game we hope that it will make you think even after you stop playing it. This War of Mine was this first huge milestone. It paved the way for all the future titles. And with Frostpunk, it was taken to another level with this strong focus on the emergent narrative. And now with the Alters, we want to follow that path, but we also really want to push the boundaries even further and expand on how we approach meaningful topics inside the design of our games.
Thanks so much again to Tomasz and the whole team at 11-Bit Studios for joining us this year. And while I try to find enough Rapidium to make it through day 1 to 8, let's head on over to Mica Burton and keep things rolling like a massive space station.
Thanks, Day 9. Honestly, I need to look into getting myself cloned so I can make time to play all of these awesome games we've seen so far. But I'm also legitimately worried about having to eventually fight my clone in single hand-to-hand combat when they steal my life, making me wonder if I was the clone all along. Is it really worth it for video games? Yeah, no, it's totally worth it for video games. Anyway, that's a problem for future Mica. Present Mica is much more interested in what you all have been saying about the show so far. So keep letting us know your thoughts by using hashtag PC Gaming Show on all platforms. Now, let's get back to the real reason all here. Cloning. I mean video games. Video games.
Sure, when Tiny Build lets you open your own medieval potion shop, you get hailed as a master alchemist. But when I do it, I get a sternly worded letter from my landlord about how my cauldron violates our lease agreement. Whatever, it's his loss. But more importantly, folks, we promise you the maximum amount of games humanly possible, and we aim to deliver quite literally.
Before your eyes lies the Celestial Islands, a world of peace above the clouds, protected by 4 great houses.
Planet Earth, our beautiful home. To protect it, we must reach out to explore the unknown. Our team of experts is presently probing the deep sea in a struggle against the yoke of overregulation. These security and defense innovations allow you to shrink any problem down to size. We surge forward, obliterating the enemies of progress, but we refuse to let these victories go to our heads. We are the future. We are Ozine.
And now it's time to give you an exclusive briefing on what's next for one of PC gaming's titans of modding, simulation, and scale, Arma 4. Last month, developer Bohemia Interactive kicked things off by releasing Arma Reforger on Steam in early access. This playable prototype will be a foundation for Arma 4. And with it playable on Steam now, we have a ton of questions about the future of Arma. I mean, after all, this is the series that helped birth the survival genre through DayZ. Oh, and also this other little niche genre you may have heard of called Battle Royale. To help us peer into the future for this project, we've got none other than Bohemia Interactive. Thank you so much for joining us. So as of right now, Arma Reforger has been out for about a month. What is it that you've been learning or seeing from players?
At first, we've learned that players like Reforger a lot and they appreciate the work we put into it. We also realized they like modding a lot and they review this as a key quality of our games. And we were very pleased by the reactions of both our community and the new players who immediately started flooding the internet with videos, playthroughs and praise of our new technology. So we are very glad that the reception was so good.
So there's no doubt players who have been longtime fans of the franchise stepping into Arma Reforger, and I'm curious, what were some of the big challenges of rebuilding that specific Arma feel from the ground up in this brand new engine?
Well, it's a very tricky subject because even internally it's an ongoing kind of fight. So I'm myself very much on the very purist side of things, so no HUD, no save games, no superficial helpers, and this fight can get very intense even in-house. So I'm the real Arma purist, and I'm on this for 25 years now, so I will keep fighting, but obviously this is part of the fun. So there's always never-ending battle. I think 2 years ago we really struggled to keep it Arma and even internally preserve our own standards, so do it our own way rather than replicating what's maybe normal in other games, because our goal is not to make the same game as all other games. So our goal is to remain unique.
I'm curious if you can speak to what the main goals of Reforger is, because it's a little unusual compared to other releases. I mean, for instance, how much content should a player expect if, say, they've been playing Arma 3 for years?
Our goals were, of course, to restart the series from technological standpoint, really make room for some new achievements, utilize the technology which is state of the art, both in terms of how it looks like, how it's controlled, how it can be modded.
It's important to understand it may look as a kind of normal game on the surface, but there is a big system behind it. So just the tool suite is a massive tool suite, never tested by a large public. So it's a premiere of a tool suite, and these tools are being built for nearly 5 years now. So we really need users to start using them to keep improving and continue building it.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have one quick question from the Arma fans. Has Russia's invasion of Ukraine impacted your approach to Arma 4 and Arma Reforger, a game that depicts the Cold War?
Well, yes, because it's extremely close to us. We even live in a way very nearby, so definitely. On the other hand, we started work on this many years ago, so the direction was set before. But we always approach conflicts and armed conflicts with a great level of respect. We're still at the beginning, but we definitely would like to continue in our exploring this serious theme.
Arma, as I see it, has always been a bit more of a anti-war game. It's an entertainment product. That's fair thing to admit. On the other hand, given the topic, given our, let's say, maturity and long time we've spent on it, and our ambition to portray it as a whole very complex and gritty thing, I would like us to contribute by not just entertaining people, but also educating them on the subject. This was the whole point of starting the cooperation with the International Committee of the Red Cross, and I believe we have great potential, big responsibility in this era, and a very important chance to contribute at least a little bit to the good side of things.
This would not be an interview about Arma unless we were asking about modding. I mean, so many amazing games and genres came from Arma mods, so I gotta know what's possible in Reforger that wasn't possible in the past.
Now with this technology, it's possible to create entirely different things, like entirely different games. It has so many variables, but the beauty now is that much more of it is user accessible, unlike the previous games. So people can easily digest how this is constructed in our workbench tools. So unlike previously where it was more hard-coded in the C++ engine, so now they can check the data of every single element of the game and go much, much deeper than in previous games. So this will be super exciting.
Now, I wanted to ask a little bit about performance, because anyone who's played Arma knows that it can get really challenging to get a good frame rate in those massive multiplayer matches. So I'm curious, what expectations should players have about performance leading into Arma 4?
Arma 3 was built on foundations laid down in times of single core and no GPUs, basically. So this time much more computations and intensive rendering things can be done directly on GPU, but it required completely a new approach.
Again, we are in the beginning, and we know that there are problems, there are difficulties, but we are solving them one by one. We are really gathering community feedback and even our own definitely feedback, so we are moving things forward. And yeah, it's about optimization. It's not that much about FPS, but also for like network traffic, for instance. When you have this massive multiplayer game, it's a huge challenge. Server performance, of course, and all the technical things. So we are moving forward.
Thank you so much again, Bohemia Interactive, for giving us the inside scoop on both Arma Reforger and Arma 4. Now, you don't go anywhere, because here is what's around the corner.
Just around the corner in the PC gaming show, prepare to experience terror ranging from the subaqueous to the subconscious with the latest from Shiro Games. Hold on to your butts because front-end development spared no expense on the new Jurassic World Evolution 2 expansion, and get your crowbars ready for Half-Life Alyx Levitation, a special project from some very talented modders. Oh modders, what would PC gaming be without you? While we're here, quick geography question. Which parts of the world use the most bandwidth for gaming? Answer this question for the folks at Compass Data Centers and it could win you a $500 Razer gift card. Scan the QR code on the screen to enter.
Last year, Shiro Games debuted War Tales at the PC Gaming Show, but the publisher has a lot more than its medieval sandbox RPG on the way. Up next, we'll hear what's up with Shiro's slate of projects, and stick around for the debut of 2 completely new games, Decarnation and Abyssals.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for the invitation, Mica. I'm James, and I can't wait to show you everything that we've got prepared for you today. So it's been a crazy couple of months for everyone here at Shiro Games, with Dune Spice Wars marking the most successful release in the history of the company, and it's entirely thanks to all of you. But today, let's look at Dune Spice Wars multiplayer mode. Up to 4 players can go head-to-head and free-for-all, 2v2, all work together in co-op against AI opponents. We're introducing new synergy systems between factions that will open a vast number of strategies to help you crush your opponents. Multiplayer will be available in Dune Spice Wars very soon. After 5 years and nearly 3 million units sold, Northgard's story finally continues. In a new chapter set shortly after the events of the first campaign, Ragnarok has decimated the lands of Northgard. Long-standing alliances have been broken. Violence and betrayal now plague the continent. Forced to depart what they once called home, our heroes arrive on unknown shores and find themselves confronted by unfamiliar faces in a dangerous new realm. This Northgard expansion arrives this winter. And for all of our War Tales players out there, Cooperative is finally coming to our open-world tactical RPG. You share food, gold, and camp with your friends. But you can split up to cover more grounds. Before every fight, devise the perfect strategy to overcome any threats that may stand in your way. But be careful in your approach, as one wrong move may lead to your group's demise. The co-op update will allow you to play between 2 to 4 players, and it will be available this summer. So a few months ago we announced Shiro Unlimited, a new publishing label created by indies for indies, and we are very proud to announce 2 new titles coming from the Shiro Unlimited family.
It seemed like our last chance to start again, to escape Earth's devastation.
We used our limited resources to lay the foundations of a new life, deep below the waves of this strange new planet.
But soon, we realized it was not the dream world we had hoped for.
When faced against the darkness of the abyss, we found ourselves helpless.
Lost.
Isolated.
Thank you very much for sticking with us, everyone. We hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
You just saw why you were exactly right to be afraid of the ocean in Abyssals, and you confronted your inner demons in the retro dream horror of Decarnation. Next up, how do you rebuild a city in a world set after the collapse of civilization? Let's find out how by taking a look at I Am Future from Tiny Build.
Warning, hibernation aborted. Your total hibernation time was 6 years, 6 months, 5 days. Welcome to Eden, your new home.
Huh? I have no idea where the hell I am. But damn, this place is gorgeous.
Our forefathers conquered Caldaria and bestowed it upon us, a new generation, to share or spar over.
Our great houses seek to obtain the Emperor's favor, cultivating our lands and subjects to improve and enrich the realm, beginning with ourselves, of course.
Prominence can be secured through strength, as well as delicacy.
Will you be able to build your legacy of power?
Join the great houses of Caldaria.
And now, for these next trailers, it's true. They do move in herds. That was so much. The thought process is simple. God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs, man destroys God, man creates video games to play with dinosaurs. But just be warned that one of these trailers might come as a bit of a shock to the system.
PC gamer. Humans interfacing with computers
for their own entertainment. The very notion disgusts me.
Look upon my works, foul creatures,
and weep at its magnificence. It is a beautiful day on Citadel Station.
Humanity is
on the verge of a new era. I, Shodan, am its new god. Look at you, hacker. A pathetic creature of meat and bone. How can you challenge a perfect, immortal machine?
You are an insect.
You are nothing.
I create. I iterate. I fuse flesh and steel into perfection. My children, Hacker. Their blood is on your hands. You will suffer for your transgressions. These are my avenging angels, and they will have retribution.
What an incredible and frankly horrifying trailer. Developed by Night Dive Studio, System Shock is the return of a beloved, acclaimed sci-fi saga. Today, to take us even further inside the world of System Shock, I am thrilled to welcome the one and only Warren Spector. Thanks so much for joining us, Warren.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
In terms of trying to translate the experience of a game from 1994, 3 decades later to now, what doesn't carry over well?
The first thing is the graphics, obviously. We did the best we could, but it was pretty primitive back then. And the other one is the user interface. If you look at when the game opened, the original, a help screen that came up, and it filled the entire screen with text. It's just insane. I don't know how the guys at Night Dive did it. It's amazing. But frankly, as I think back on it, the game actually holds up pretty well. I'm excited to see it come back.
Just wondering if you think many modern gamers are aware of the impact that System Shock has had in terms of gameplay systems, in terms of narrative structure, on so many games that came after it.
I'm not sure people see the influence, which is a little unfortunate. But I think the rest of the world is going to get a chance now to experience it, and I think they'll see not just that they're having fun playing this game, but also see that other games followed in its footsteps.
Nowadays, we walk around with computers in our pockets. We're worried about the evil of algorithms. How do you think about a character like Shodan in 2022?
Shodan seems far too close to reality to me right now, and let's just hope that she doesn't show up as nasty a form as she did back in 1994.
Well, Warren, I wanted to thank you so much for joining us, and I want to let you know I cannot wait to return back to that world I played and enjoyed so much as a kid. Cheers.
Hey, I can't wait to return to that world. I forgot
right?
Basically the fans know way more about the game than I do now, so it'll be a new experience for me too.
Thank you so much again, Warren Spector, for joining us to talk all things System Shock. I personally can't wait for the game to come out, though. It might completely ruin my sleep schedule, but before I spiral further, here are some more games to cram into your eyeballs.
Since the first pioneers changed the harshest aspects of our world, every generation has upheld the solemn promise of our forefathers, that the rise of Titan would forever be without misery or bloodshed. We seek nothing from the solar system but a lasting amity of reason and justice. To see a war under any pretext would bring ruin to the great works of mankind. Any victory achieved through that deepest expression of human unreason would be as devastating as defeat. We have but a singular purpose: to establish peace and security for all mankind.
The war between Mars and Titan devastated our solar system. Lead the survivors to Demaret, where you will continue following Frontier's storyline campaign in orbit of an alien star.
All right, gamers, good work. You've made it here to a site of grace, or a bonfire, or a sculptor's idol, or a lamp. Make sure you're staying hydrated, replenish your potions, and most importantly, keep letting us know what games you're excited about using hashtag #PCGamingShow. I mean, personally, I can't wait to play The Altars. Ah, good. Now that we're all rested up, feeling good, it's time to enjoy a slice of that lovely cyberpunk life, courtesy of Nivalis, and experience the investigative horror of Immortality, the latest from the mind of Sam Barlow.
I believe we have a short clip here. Do you want to tell us what we're about to see?
Well, I don't want to spoil things too much.
Does this work as a confession?
Good words. That's fabulous.
Now it's worth more.
Did you ever read his diary?
We can take a break. You should take a break. No, we can go.
Hey, boss. Time to wake up. We got customers waiting. What do you mean you don't know where to start? Let's clean this place up. Move some chairs and tables around. We can make this place shine again. If the weather gets bad, we can grow some veg in the greenhouse. Once we start making real money, well, then you can rent that fancy new apartment in Midtown. So make friends, make enemies. Give customers a route, just turn on the old charm. Or water down their drinks. I'm not your conscience. This is a world to explore, to make stories. Your stories. You ever look up at the clouds and wonder what's up there? Well, if you dream big enough, maybe you'll find out. Maybe we all will. Welcome to Nivalis.
Hi, I'm Marco.
And I'm Roman.
At Ironlands, we are big fans of cyberpunk fiction and games, but we have our own ideas of what a cyberpunk world can be. This is a game in which you manage your restaurant, bar, or nightclub, take care of your staff, make deals, farm, and experience the stories of the people you meet.
Or maybe you just want to take the day off and go fishing at the docks instead. Nivalis primarily uses voxel art for the environments. We spend lots of time creating a unique atmosphere with high levels of detail and dynamic elements.
We are excited about the cyberpunk world we're making, and we can't wait to see the choices you'll make and how you'll choose to live your life when you come visit us in Nivalis. You can wishlist Nivalis now on Steam and the Epic Game Store.
Mana is the gaming rewards debit card that puts the power back in the hands of players. So with every quest you complete and every purchase you make, you're earning for the rewards you actually want. We make it easy for you to set up and start. Just sync your favorite games to your Mana account and start earning real-life rewards the next time you play. So why pay any other way? Pay with Mana. Pay with power. Mana. Game the system.
Get ready to overclock your eyeballs, because this next trailer is coming in hotter than my computer with 3 Chrome tabs open. You just saw Demon School from Welsh developer Ysbryd Games, and now it's time to take a bit of a spooky transition. If you're at home, turn on all the lights in the room, make sure the salt circle is unbroken, and check to see that your door is properly painted with sacrificial lamb's blood, because things are about to get certifiably terrifying. Let's look at the H.R. Giger-inspired biopunk horror, Scorn.
Desolate and decayed. A grisly nightmare of macabre perception. Greetings. I'm your host, Doug Bradley, and I invite you to join me as we explore Scorn's mesmerizing labyrinth of odd forms and somber tapestries. You awake in the middle of a desolate hellscape filled with biomechanical contraptions, part flesh, part machine. An industrial civilization now lying in decay and ruin. A hidden fauna sleeps within the underbelly of the world, wanting nothing more than to be left undisturbed. Scorn has been carefully crafted with great attention to detail. Everything is focused on building a specific atmosphere. From a unique organic ecosystem to an unsettling soundscape created by Ethek and Lustmord. Scorn has no dialogue, so most of the storytelling comes from the environment, discovering the ever-present symbiotic relationships and how things are connected equips you with the tools to progress. While there is shooting within the game, Scorn is not a shooter. Every encounter must be carefully considered. A wrong choice could be deadly. I hope you've enjoyed this glimpse into the twisted world of Scorn. The team at Ebb Software can't wait for you to uncover the secrets of this unique world as you experience Scorn firsthand this October. Are you prepared to unravel your inner self within Scorn's world of horror?
Now, while I've been delightedly playing Dune Spice Wars, harvesting melange, and trying to figure out how to pronounce Kwisatz Haderach, it doesn't matter, I'm equally ready to turn hordes of Tyranids into a Jackson Pollock painting in Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. In this brutal third-person shooter, you once again step into the oversized power armor of Titus, an elite Primaris Space Marine in a galaxy immersed in a never-ending war. To take us further inside the grimdark, I am joined by Tim Willits and Oliver Hollis, the creative director, on Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. First of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
Now, Tim, I want to start with you. You previously worked at id Software on Doom. How would you say the Space Marine compares to Doom Guy?
That is a good question. I bet many people did not know that the original Doom Guy was actually a Space Marine, inspired by an even older Space Marine, which is the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. So, you know, it's really exciting for me to work on Space Marine 2, you know, because it's a great franchise, and I know that it's inspired so many other video games throughout the last 25, 30 years.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so much lore to sift through. And I think this brings us to talk a little bit about the new Space Marine that you're going to get to play, a Primaris Space Marine. Oliver, talk to us a little bit about Captain Titus and what makes this class of Space Marine different from the others in the universe.
So the Space Marine is a brainchild of the Emperor, the kind of leader of this of humanity in the grimdark future. He saw the dangers that the universe presented, and he created a super soldier from his own DNA. And each of these different factions, these different chapters, have different genetic traits of the Emperor. But what makes the Primaris different is that a guy named Belisarius Cawl the Emperor's kind of chief scientist, went back, did some digging in the old data, and found a way to enhance the qualities that a Space Marine has by installing new devices, new kind of bio implants in their body. So now these guys are 2.5 meter tall monsters capable of destroying anything in their path.
It's reminding me of the 1,000 times I have rewatched the Astartes animation.
That's amazing.
It's so exciting. It's so exciting that we now get to be in that position to play that kind of character. And in the trailer, we saw a lot of Tyranids. Are they the main enemy that you're going to be against? And if so, what makes them such a compelling foe?
In this particular game, the Tyranids are the main focus, and what makes them compelling is that they are extragalactic locust-like creatures. They've come in from goodness knows where. They spread like wildfire. They devour everything in their path, and they leave nothing in their wake.
So one of the great things about the Tyranids is they come in the thousands, and our proprietary engine, the Saber Swarm engine, can deliver these epic battles. Now we will have thousands of Tyranids, and you will rip and tear through them all.
I mean, that is so thrilling, because this is the sort of thing that older games couldn't even hope to do. And you're talking a little bit about combat. I know that some of the previous entries were more melee focused. What's the combat like in Space Marine 2?
So the combat in Space Marine 2 is a mix of in-your-face melee combat along with some really cool over-the-top weapons. So we looked at the original Space Marine game where it had a lot of this push-forward combat, which has inspired many other video games, but that never stop, never take cover combat is integral to Space Marine 2, along with these really cool, powerful weapons. So you're either tearing up enemies in front of you, or you're blowing them away from the back of the battlefield. It's the best of both worlds.
I mean, that sounds so terrific. And I mean, I know you guys are huge fans of the 40K lore, so I'm curious about, in working on this project, what's been the most fun seeing come together? I mean, what's Saber Interactive focusing on right now?
Right at the beginning of the project, Tim and I went to the Warhammer Museum, which was an incredible experience. And you go around all these cabinets where these incredible miniatures that have been painted by these masters are arranged in these dioramas. You find yourself kind of crouching down and looking into the ranks of Space Marines that are facing Tyranids or Orcs or whatever. And something that Tim and I said at that moment was, we need to make this come alive. I don't want to look at this, I want to be inside this. I want to be gunning down Tyranids by the thousands. And so seeing that actually happen and come alive has been thrilling.
Am I going to feel like the characters in the Astartes animation? Because if so, then I'm buying the game immediately.
Even more so, when you're wielding one of those massive weapons and you're faced with 1,000 Tyranids who all want to eat you alive, and you're just letting rip and you can see shell casings bursting out of these massive weapons one after another. The sound, the gameplay, the way it feels is all designed to make you feel like the most powerful warrior in the universe.
Well, perfect. That answers everything. Thank you so much, Tim and Oliver from Saber Interactive, for joining us. I can't wait. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S soon. Now next, we have a few more surprises for you up the sleeves of our proverbial power armor. First, Replicant D6's homage to the golden days, or should I say, golden eyes of 90s console shooters, and an atmospheric sci-fi adventure on the Red Planet from Frontier Developments and Kyoken Interactive. Let's take a look.
Sarah? Ryan? This is Kathy. Can you hear me? Please come in.
Mission Opera has only one objective. Bring the Arks and their revolutionary technology back home.
Here we go, Opera Team. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
I need to know that when we get there, you'll make the right decisions.
We can do this.
What do you expect to find on Mars?
Hi, my name's Elise Chappell, and I play Kathy Johansson in the out-of-this-world sci-fi epic Deliver Us Mars. Join Kathy and the crew of the Zephyr on an unmissable adventure as they journey to the Red Planet to recover technology vital to the survival of Earth and humankind. Deliver Us Mars is set to land on September 27th and is available to pre-order now on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and the Epic Games Store.
Stay a while and listen. To this list of games still to come, the team behind Half-Life Alyx Levitation will put their mod where their mouth is, and then it's paradox time. Not as in us creating an actual time paradox, we're going to show you the latest from Victoria 3. Plus, you can literally scare your entire butt off with the creeping horror of Gloomwood. All this and more in just a moment, but first, a final pop quiz for all you Valorant, CSGO, and League of Legends players. How much has esports revenue increased since 2016? Compass Data Centers wants to hear your guess, and you can scan this QR code on the screen for a chance to win a $500 Razer gift card. Visit gaming.compassdatacenters.com to enter. Alright, and now, back to the show.
Up next, we're going to take a look at Stormgate, the highly anticipated real-time strategy game from Frost Giant. Then, our resident RTS addict is going to sit down with some of the game developers to ask the hard-hitting questions like, when can we play this already?
2 years ago, our team assembled with a shared vision to build a brand new real-time strategy game. Together, we've been fortunate to work on some of the greatest RTS games of all time, and now we have a chance to do it again by creating the next evolution of that legacy. Today, we are so excited to share a first glimpse of Stormgate, an exclusive sneak peek into the universe and game that we've been creating for you. Stormgate takes place in an all-new post-apocalyptic setting where science fiction and fantasy collide. Our story begins hundreds of years in Earth's future, following the near extinction of humanity. This great calamity was caused by the Infernal Host, a playable alien race of demonic invaders that are hell-bent on claiming this planet as their own. With our story, we are creating an ever-expanding game universe, told through an ongoing series of campaign missions that you can play solo or cooperatively. New chapters will come out regularly, along with new units, maps, modes, and plenty of other surprises. In addition to campaign missions, we're building a world-class competitive experience with grassroots and professional tournaments accessible from directly within the game. There will be different leagues suitable for all levels of experience. In our new 3-player co-op versus AI mode, you'll level up your heroes, collect rewards, and customize your forces to open up new styles of gameplay and long-term variety. Stormgate will be free to play, but not pay to win, and there will be no NFTs. Beta testing starts next year, and you can sign up now to reserve your place in line at playstormgate.com.
You might happen to know that I'm a huge fan of real-time strategy games. StarCraft is my favorite game. I played it for 25 years. I still play it, and that's why I am so thrilled today to be talking to Frost Giant Studios. They're a group of amazing developers who have worked on literally my favorite games of all time. and we're here to talk about their brand new, free-to-play, real-time strategy game set in a post-apocalyptic Earth. It's Stormgate. And here to talk about it is the CEO and production director at Frost Giant, Tim Morton. Thanks for joining us, Tim.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I want to know about the world. I want to know about the game. Tell us, what is Stormgate?
All right, this is our first game as a new studio, and it is classic real-time strategy, but designed to be more social. We build the game in a universe that ties everything together, but provide different kinds of experiences for players who like different kinds of gameplay. So we've got cooperative campaign mode, also play open-ended co-op, but if you're somebody who really enjoys competition, we've got 1 versus 1, high skill, competitive. And those are very different ways to play in some ways, but they're also all unified by the universe, by the races, by the units. So you really get a sense for how to enjoy the game.
And I'm curious a little bit about that core gameplay, because obviously in all these modes you're going to be collecting money, building bases, building units, and so on. And I know that for you, the game feeling really good and really smooth to play is super important. Now, obviously, I come from a time where if the pathfinding is bad, we call that high skill opportunity. But I mean, how do you think about getting the controls, the motions, just the feel of the game to feel good in 2022?
Yeah, it's interesting that RTS is one of the only genres I can think of where you have to have hundreds, even thousands of units synchronized over the network and responsive in a way that high skill, like pro esports players feel good about playing the game. That's not easy. It does require custom technology. There's no engine that you buy off the shelf that does that for you. So we definitely started knowing that and having the benefit of our chief architect, James Anhalt, who did that work previously on StarCraft 2. So we've put a lot of effort into that for sure.
And this is going to be one of the first major RTSs people are aware of that is on Unreal Engine 5. What is it like working in this next generation engine?
It's pretty incredible how far things have come from a graphics perspective, and I think the art team is unlocked in so many ways by what Unreal provides. So we're very excited. We're still learning everything that Unreal can do for us, but even that first cinematic that we debuted, like that's done in Unreal. So the high quality graphics that you're seeing are actually coming from Unreal as an engine.
So you've talked a little bit about, for new players, making the game feel a little more approachable, a little bit more streamlined, but obviously, StarCraft, real-time strategy, has this astonishingly long history as a competitive game, as an esport. And I'm curious, how is your team going to approach that?
So a lot of the emphasis around our thinking has been focused on what are things that we can add, especially around the gameplay experience. And one of those things is more seamless integration with esports. I mean, being able to sign up, participate in tournaments directly from the client in a way that gives players, even if you're not like top grandmaster, ready to take on Cyril, there's still an opportunity to be the best on your block or the best at your company or the best at your school. So we want to facilitate esports all the way from grassroots level up to the pro level directly in the client.
So of course, in the history of RTS games, a really important component of them has always been mods. I mean, Warcraft 3, there's players that didn't even play the original game, they just did custom mode after custom mode. Does Stormgate have modding? How are you thinking about the modding community?
A number of members of the Frost Giant team actually came out of the modding community. The team as a whole is very passionate about it. From the outset, we started out applying resources to build a custom editor. I think there's a lot of opportunity to make improvements to the editing experience for RTS. We are also working on the infrastructure for people to be able to share their mods with each other. So it's really core to us as a team to enable modding, and we're absolutely working on it.
And of course, we have to end with my favorite question of all. When can we play the game and how do we play it, Tim?
So we are going to start our beta in 2023. We already have a site stood up at playstormgate.com to be able to register for the beta. We have a lot of active discussion topics on our subreddit as well, so there's an opportunity to participate in the dialogue around what we're building.
Tim, thank you so much for joining us again today. We just got a chance to talk about Stormgate, the upcoming free-to-play RTS from Frost Giant Studios. I'm personally super pumped to play it, and be sure to check it out at playstormgate.com. Now, Tim, I'm going to do a transition to the next game. Are you ready? is gonna be good. Watch this, it's gonna be so sick. Next, we're gonna show you Lesara, Summit Kingdom from Quite OK Games. Now, as someone who has spent a medically inadvisable amount of time playing strategy games of all sorts, this looks incredibly up my alley. And it looks a lot safer than my last attempt to create society in the mountains. 2 words to yodeling accident. Let's check it out.
That was Frozen Flame, an open-world survival RPG from Dreamside Interactive, where you'll embark on a fantasy adventure in a world reshaped by a magical calamity. A cursed land full of environmental hazards and massive monsters doesn't sound like the kind of place you'd want to build a cozy home with your friends, but instead you'll be raising fortresses and trying to tame the world, eventually growing tough enough to tackle the citadel that looms over everything and break the curse. Or you'll end up in the belly of a monster. Still kind of cozy. The demo for Frozen Flame was released just before the show, so you can jump in or grab some co-op buddies and see how long you can survive for right now. And keep an eye out for the early access launch later this year.
If you could listen to the noise of history, then you would hear, by the sounds of the Victorian age, that the world changed forever. The roar of the engines, the bangs from new factories, and the cries in the streets, calling out for revolution. In Victoria 3, we simulate this era, 100 years starting in 1836, and put you in charge of a young society. You will meet the people back then, high and low, over cultures across the globe. They are the beating heart of your nation and form powerful groups with needs and desires. Listen to their calls and let it influence reform, or turn a deaf ear to protect what is proven and stable. Your politics will decide where you want to go, but your economy, how far you'll come. Taxes, production, trade, and construction. Play these cards right, and you can harness the Industrial Revolution to turn your cities into titans. This is the engine you will need on the global stage. Use pacts, threats, and bluffs to secure your place in the sun. Anything done by war can be achieved with diplomacy. But you can decide when push comes to shove. Here you write the stories, and over time, the history of your world will be carved into the map. What will your society be like? What is the sound that will echo over continents and be heard over the noise of time as you create your grand tomorrow?
That was the gameplay debut of Victoria 3 from Paradox Interactive, a grand strategy game coming later this year. And let us take this moment to let you know you can wish us Victoria 3 by visiting the PC Gaming Show event page on Steam, where you'll be able to find every game featured in today's show. Type pcgamer.com/wishlist into your browser to be taken straight to there. And now on with the show.
What's up, PC gamers? We're back again. Now, what you just saw was everything New Blood's got going on for 2022. A Medieval to Black Labyrinth, Ultra Kill Act 2, Faith, Fallen Aces, and a brand new update for Dusk that's bringing all new HD models and weapons that nobody asked for. So we're doing it anyway. Now, last year you might have noticed we teased a bunch of games here that we weren't ready to talk about just yet. And we're still not ready to talk about those games. But I want to let you know that yes, we're still working on a top-down shooter. Yes, we're still working on a Fallout-style RPG, my dream game. And yes, we're still working on a car combat game. But we're not ready to talk about those games just yet. What I want to talk about is Gloomwood. Now, 2 years ago, y'all straight up forgot to show the Gloomwood trailer. Last year, you bumped me so Gabe Newell could talk about a bunch of demos or some shit. This year, PC Gamer, you promised we would get to show Gloomwood, so I don't want to hear any bullshit. If you're on a Steam Deck ad right now or some shit, I'm gonna...
Steam Deck. Powerful, portable, PC gaming.
PC Gamer, you see this puppy? I will drown this puppy. I will, if you don't let us show Gloomwood, I am going to drown this adorable... I would never do that. Hi, I love you. So yeah, we good?
No.
Can we show Gloomwood? Are you sure? Well, all right. It's about time.
Hello, Doctor. I had hoped for us to meet at my estate. No matter. I can guarantee your safe arrival. A promise few others here can make. The townsfolk are not fond of outsiders. Don't delay.
There's only one thing I like more than playing New Bloods games, and that's probably the URLs they make for them. It wouldn't be a PC gaming show without the silliest, most ridiculous website names in human history. Which is why I'm delighted to share that next, we have a group of such games that run the gamut from medieval mayhem to an adorable animal fight club. And our first rule, we absolutely plan to talk about it.
Corrupted what? Why is it always doing this just when I need to showcase the game? Okay, I'm gonna take that. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Yes, I have.
The update to System 10.1.1 will provide a clean sorting of all your files and ensure that situations like this won't ever happen.
Oh, no, nobody's updating me. That's the thing. Nope, haha, thank you, but we'll pass. Okay, so I do have a backup of the trailer. While I go rummage into the bin for it, please welcome my personal assistant. That will do a great job at pitching the game for you. Talk about how cool I am in the story and how funny and witty. You know, just talk about me. Found it! Ah, ladies and gentlemen, the trailer. Okay, who had the amazing idea to save the trailer backup in 14.4 pixels? Do we have any ants working for us? What?
The survival of thy noble family depends on their ability to rule the city, to fight with valor, and to learn. Oh, if only it were that easy.
I don't know what you're up to, fuzzball, but back off! At the end of my
That was the latest DLC for Core Keeper, the sandbox survival sim from Fireshine Games and Pugstorm. The Sunken Sea biome update is available on June 15th for all Core Keeper players. Now we have even more twists and turns and trailers, so press enter to continue. Did you press it? I'm gonna go ahead and assume you pressed it. No, but seriously, press it.
Life can be harsh everywhere. But in the old world, there was no hope of it ever improving. When our crops failed, the ruling class would still collect the same share, leaving our children to starve. And if we had any coin to our name, the taxman would appear, demanding it for the crown. The nobles hid behind the safety of their walls and did nothing when raiders pillaged the outskirts of the city. And so, some of us decided that it was time to leave, that we'd rather take our chances in the wilderness, seeking the promise of a new land, than starve to death in our homeland. The journey wasn't easy. We lost many along the way. But this wild, unsettled land offers us the hope of a new start as the masters of our own destiny.
What is below is destined to be understood. Our life depends on the whims of the weather. Our life is tied to this earth.
The water we harvest, the plants we grow, the air we filter. Any waste would be fatal to our survival.
We must learn to live in harmony with this world. For too long, we have wandered without purpose. From now on, our city will be a source of hope.
To understand our world, we must explore it.
We must find the tablets, the seeds of knowledge that bind all the elements together.
To build our survival.
To build our city. To live happily.
Welcome to Icarus, Prospector. The planet we almost lost, then found a reason to stay. Take it from me, this place wants you dead. But we've made progress, learned the lay of the land, how to use Icarus to our advantage. Our friends at the UDA are offering up a slice, a whole new terrain. If you learn, build, and survive, maybe, just maybe, there's a future here. Think you got what it takes?
In the rich tapestry of the PC gaming community, modders are one of the most inspiring subcultures. In fact, some of the most popular genres today started as PC gaming mods. Right now, modders Sean FMP1 Snelling and Corey Latto are making something incredibly special in the form of an ambitious mod for Half-Life Alyx. It's called Levitation. It's an original 4 to 5 hour campaign that builds on Valve's original VR game, Half-Life Alyx. With Alyx searching for a pair of rebels gone rogue, they've discovered a strange floating building in Sector X and decided to investigate it, against orders, obviously, and now it's your turn. Let's go back to the world of Gordon, G-Man, and Alyx with this exclusive gameplay footage.
Alyx, according to this old Resistance map, there's a control room somewhere outside the building you're in. Sorry if that's vague, the map was drawn using somebody's blood. Alyx, I'm detecting an incredibly large energy signature up ahead. It's probably Gordon Freeman, and not anything bad at all. Definitely probably Gordon Freeman.
Okay, so the plan is to get to that control room and get Gordon. Oh boy. Crowded down here, Russ. cells left. Oh boy.
Well, folks, this is the end. We've learned a lot today about ourselves, about computers, about genetically engineered space marines. And with so many games on the way, there has truly never been a better time to be part of the PC gaming community.
Over the course of the last 2 hours, we saw games from developers all over the world, and we wanted to thank everyone who tuned in to watch the show. All the developers who shared their work with us, and of course, all of the partners for their help bringing the PC gaming show to life.
Indeed, remember to tip your servers, install your firmware updates, and tell me if you know where to find a 3090 Ti. Tell me immediately. Anywhere you can find one, let me know. And of course, a warm thanks to you again for joining us at this year's PC Gaming Show. It's something I look forward to every year, and we're thrilled that you joined us again. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye. This is the official PC Gaming Show 2022 pre-show. It's the live show before the pre-recorded show. Go to the start. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Replenish your potions and let's do it again. This is the first time. But before I spiral further into my concerns, here's even more. All right, one more time. You just saw Demon School from Welsh developer. You want perfect? Watch this chart. So now they're all rested up. Let's enjoy a slice of that cyberpunk life. Experience we skipped the whole line. We accidentally the whole line. We have come to the end of our show at long last. With so many, I saw my spit fly out, and I hope I didn't get you, man.
Oh, good.
And also, I ate a Snickers, so I want to make sure there's no just chocolate in my teeth. Any chocolate in my mouth.
Don't answer him. The 5.5 gigahertz Core i9 12900KS with a 32 gigabyte of DDR. I was doing so well. Ah, God, there were so many numbers all at once.
And game reveals to share with you, which can only mean one thing. It's countdown time. There's a LaCroix burp. It's very close to the surface. It's not a heart attack, it's just a burp. All right, I'm going to do the take. It's gonna happen, maybe.
I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this.
Get ready to overclock your eyeballs because this next trailer is coming in hotter than my computer with more than 3 Chrome tabs open. If your gaming chair came with a seatbelt, then strap in because this next trailer goes from 0 to 100 real quick. And I just got off the phone with my doctor and he was like, exclusive gameplay levels are critically low. And I want to fix that like immediately. I had no idea where we were going. It's the first time I'd seen any of those words, but I just kept pushing it. There's no break. I just kept going. I was like, this is the most crazy. This read is insane. I was like, cry. I don't know why I'm this way. But that's what I decided to do, and I'm sticking to it.